What's going on? What's happening, fellas? It's your boy KD. Let's get right into it. This video has been requested from me for a while, and it's about that time. So becoming more attractive will benefit you in many areas, fellas. In business, in relationships, in networking, in many areas in life. Being more charismatic will always work out better for you and get you better results. So the first way you can become more charismatic as a man is understanding the importance of body language. Okay, body language is very important when it comes to you attracting people and being more likable, because that's what being more charismatic and charisma is all about. Being more attractive and being likable. You ever notice some guys, when they walk into the room, people are just attracted to them. They turn heads. People can actually feel them walking into the room without even looking their way. This is what charisma is all about, controlling the room. But body language is very important when you're aiming to be more charismatic. Understanding the types of body language that signal certain types of reactions from people. All right, because there's many messages that you can convey socially with people by the way you stand, by the way you dress, and by the way you talk. All right, fellas, so you have to be conscious of these things. Now, obviously, the first rule of being charismatic is always being authentic, being yourself. Never try to be somebody else, because other people can smell it on you, especially women. Women definitely understand when you're not being yourself and when you're not being authentic. So that's the first rule. But improving your body language will definitely help you out as well. All right, just a couple keys, because this is one of the things that I see a lot from men in public that's definitely probably turning people off. All right, when you're in public and you're around people, especially when you're conversing and talking to people, one of the things that you do not want to do is things like crossing your arms. All right, when I'm talking to somebody and I'm like this, all right, what this means is I'm guarded. This means I'm not open. And these are subtle cues that people will notice and read you and figure out whether or not they like you, whether or not they relate to you, or whether or not they want to associate or even be around you. All right, so the second way you could be more charismatic is mastering the art of communication. All right, fellas, communication, not just nonverbal communication like body language, but verbal communication as well. All right, fellas, knowing how to articulate yourself well is a skill. All right, and it's a skill that you must develop. I'm not saying that you have to talk like a physiologist and you have to sound all educated, but you have to know how to articulate yourself. All right, and communication is more than just talking. Communication is eye contact. Communication is touching as well. Okay, so mastering these things is a very great skill to learn and develop. All right, I'll just give you a quick tip. One of the things that I used to do when I was in sales that worked out very well for me is when I would greet men, one of the things that I would do is I would shake their hand with my right hand and I'll put my left hand on their shoulder. Okay, what this would do most times, especially in a professional sales situation, is that will make the man in front of me feel more comfortable. It will make him drop his guard and make it easier for him to transact with me. All right, that is a form of communication. So you have to master these skills if you want better results and if you want to be more charismatic. That subtle thing that I did by putting my left hand on a guy's shoulder as I shook his hand with my right hand, that made me more likable. That made me more relatable. And it made me more charismatic, which increased my results in sales. All right, and I don't even know how I started doing this, man. One day there was this guy, he was real cool, and I ended up putting my hand on his shoulder, and then I noticed that he kind of dropped his guard, and he ended up telling me more about him, which increases the chances of that sale. So I started doing it more. I even did it to women as well. All right, and I noticed my sales started going up. I noticed better interactions and more communication with the people that I actually dealt with in that situation. All right, confidence and self-esteem. All right, this is the next part of being more charismatic. You got to have confidence and you got to have self-esteem. And these are things that you cannot buy. These are things that don't happen overnight. You have to actually build confidence. You have to build self-esteem. All right, and I'm going to make this simple. The way you build confidence, and I'm actually going to put a link to a video that I did about how to be more confident or things that actually kill your confidence. I'm going to put that in the description. But the thing about how to be more confident is basically all you have to do is do something over and over, repetitive to the point to where you're competent at it. That's what builds confidence. All right, there are people that got fake confidence and all they do is tell themselves a lie over and 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 over again until they actually believe it. Now they're a confident person. All right, because I know you know many people that they're confident and they really don't have a solid reason, a legit reason why they should be confident. All they did is they told themselves over and over and over and over again that they are whatever they're confident about. But confidence is about competence. All right, it's about diligence. It's about working hard, because the harder you work, the more you develop yourself, the more you're on your purpose, the more confident you're going to be. And people can look in your face. They can look at the way you talk. They can look at the way you walk. They can look at the way you stand. And it's just going to show confidence. This makes you more charismatic. People love confident people. I love confident people. All right. I don't let confident people make me feel inferior or make me intimidated. I love being around confident people. It makes me more confident, actually. All right. And self-esteem is the next part. You got to have self-esteem. All right. You got to be confident in yourself and love yourself enough to where people are going to love you. There's a classic saying that says, if you don't love yourself, other people won't love you either. And that is the truth, guys. You have to be in love with yourself, because when you're in love with yourself, and when you take care of yourself and you care about yourself, other people will as well, because they can see that you respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, people won't respect you. So you have to respect yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to like yourself in order for people to do the same. All right, guys. So confidence and self-esteem is a very, very important part and a very important asset of being more charismatic as a man. Guys, so the next way you can be more charismatic as a man is understanding the power of a genuine smile. All right, fellas, I understand as a man, and I'm a big proponent of masculine frame. Always being in your masculine frame, no matter what the situation is, no matter who you're around. You can still be a loving, caring, genuine guy and still be in your frame. But this does not mean that you can't smile. All right. A lot of you guys got the whole masculine frame thing mixed up, and you think that you have to walk around like a zombie Terminator and you can't crack a smile and you can't show any type of emotion. Fellas, there is power in a masculine man when he smiles. All right. Women absolutely love it when you smile at them, but you have to be masculine, because if you some goofy nerd and you walk around smiling at women all the time, it's not going to be half as attractive as if you were a very handsome, attractive masculine man and you smiled at women. All right, fellas. So develop yourself, but also smile, guys. Smile at women. I'm not talking about this big cheese smile to the point where you're showing all your pearly whites. All right, but nice, slick, smooth, masculine smiles work great, but you got to smile. So when you meet women, when you meet people, even men, you shake people's hands, smile. There's nothing wrong with shaking a man's hand and smiling. All right, it is polite. It's courteous. It's how you greet people. All right, guys. Now, you got to understand there's certain situations where when you see men or you see certain people, smiling probably is not the best decision, because it's probably a threat in the area. But in most cases, in your day-to-day life, smile, guys, smile. You will be way more likable, way more relatable, and way more approachable. And that leads me to my next point. You got to be more approachable, guys. And this goes a lot to do with body language. All right, guys, you have to convey an approachable body language. All right, because of my stature and because of how I look, sometimes I'm very unapproachable. So I have to be very mindful of the way that I walk, the way that I carry myself, the way that I make people perceive the type of person I am. All right, now I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to try to kiss people's ass or look like somebody I'm not, because I'm always authentic. But because of who I am, I can't look like I just got out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I look like. Like, I'm tatted up, I'm dark skinned, I got muscles everywhere, bro. Like, when people see me, and people even tell me, and confident men, they'll tell me, bro, you look scary, bro. You look like you about to hurt somebody in here. You know, and that's when I'm walking around like a frown on my face, or like just this stale, you know, glare on my face, no real emotions in my face or anything like that. All right, guys. So when I get in certain situations, I smile at people. All right, I make myself more approachable so that I don't look like a threat, you know, because we are humans and biologically we are wired to find threats, okay, and to sense threats in the area. So if somebody is perceived or looks a certain way, you're going to find out if there's a threat about that person. So if some big muscular dude, you know, walks in the room, you're going to feel a little bit threatened depending on who you are, but most people will. All right, guys. So you have to understand who you are and what you look like means a lot to how approachable you may be. That's why you have to understand body language. That's why you have to know how to smile. That's why you have to understand nonverbal cues and how to communicate with people, because this matters a lot. People are very shallow for the most part, and not in a bad way, but people are shallow. Most people read a book by its cover. As much as they tell you not to, don't read a book by its cover. Most people do. It's human nature. All right, guys. So point is, be more approachable, guys. Be more approachable. One of the biggest ways you could be more approachable is when you make eye contact with people, smile at them. All right, guys, smile at them. And don't be afraid to approach people. All right, don't be afraid to walk up to people. I'm going to do a video pretty soon in the next week about how to get over approach anxiety, because that's a video I've been getting questions about a lot, about guys want to know or want to get better at approaching people, not just women, but people, period. I'm going to do a video about that very soon, guys. All right, but be approachable and don't be afraid to actually walk up to people and greet and, you know, get to know people in person. The next way you can be more charismatic, and this is more when you're actually in conversation with people, is listening skills. I know, guys, I know I made a video about how to speak better and why speaking well and articulate is one of a man's superpowers. But you also need to know how to listen. All right, guys, because it's not hard to speak. It is not hard to speak. When people got something to say, they don't mind voicing themselves. People do not mind speaking. But listening is a skill that a lot of people lack. All right, to be honest with you, when I look at certain podcasts, you know, and I watch certain podcasts for research, and I watch certain podcasts because, you know, it's what I do. I'm in the, you know, the content creator space. So I like looking at other people's insight. I like listening to different dialogues and panels and things like that. And one of the things that I see on podcasts is 90% of people don't know how to listen. They know how to talk, but they don't know how to listen. All right, guys, and the people who are most likable and the people who relate to people most on each of these podcasts that I watch is the person who's listening more. All right, guys, like the one who's talking the most, nobody likes that person, literally. Like in a conversation, like if you know how to speak and it's your turn to talk, maybe you're giving a speech, maybe you're making a YouTube video, and maybe it's your turn to talk because it's your turn. Okay, speaking is great. You need to know how to speak very fluently and well. But if you're talking to other people and you're having a conversation, guys, you got to know how to listen. All right, you got to know how to listen. That's why they say you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, because you need to listen more than you speak. All right, guys. And the biggest thing about charisma related to listening is people want to be heard. All right, guys, that's the best way you can get somebody to like you, is to listen to them. Most people just want to be heard, especially women. Especially women, guys. All right. So if you want to be more charismatic, you got to know how to listen. Use your ears. And I guarantee you, you'll know how to speak better if you listen more, because you'll get the full context of what people are saying and you'll know how to respond better to what they're actually saying. Therefore, they'll like you more and you'll be more charismatic. All right, guys. And the last way you can be more charismatic is understanding how to convey positive energy. This right here, guys, this starts internally. All right, guys, because if you don't feel good internally, you're not going to project positive energy. You're going to project negative energy, because if your thoughts all day are negative, all day you're thinking negative thoughts, you're speaking negative things to yourself, you're listening to negative things, bro, I guarantee you, you can smile, you can dance, you can do whatever you want. You can put on a clown outfit for all I care. If you have a negative mindset, your negative energy will be felt by others. Trust me on that, guys. This is how the world works. All right. Because if you are low vibrational, people will not feel good around you, guys. I guarantee you, bro, because think about the days when you felt your best. You just felt good, just positive. I'm talking about birds chirping, sun shining, music playing. Everything is great. Trust me, and admit this, bro. People felt better around you. You had better interactions with people. How you communicate with people was more fluent and it flowed like water. But when you were irritated, when you felt bad, when you were stressed, all negative, that's how it was when you dealt with people. You got negative interactions. You know, people cut you off in traffic. Just bad shit happen. All right, guys. So you have to understand the energy that you have in your body, in your mind, it will convey to other people. All right, the same way. All right, guys. And you cannot be charismatic if you're walking around with this just negative ball inside of you. All right, guys. So you have to be a positive person. You can be realistic, but you got to be a positive person. All right, especially when you're having conversations with people. And if all your responses are negative, if everything that you got to say is negative, people are not going to like you. People are not going to want to talk to you. All right. People rarely remember the things that you say unless they talk to you every day. But people rarely remember the things you say. All right. People mostly remember how you made them feel when they were around you. All right, guys. So you have to understand this. People tend to usually remember how they felt when you were in their presence. And if it wasn't good, if they didn't feel good, if they felt disgusted or empty or drained after you left, they're not going to want to be around you more. And therefore, they don't think you're likable, you know? So if you want to be more charismatic, guys, you got to be positive. All right, fellas. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. These were ways that you can be a more charismatic man. I hope this helped you out. If you got a homeboy who wants to be more charismatic, please share this video with him. If you haven't liked the video, please like the video. I'm going to drop some links in the descriptions for some related videos that I want you guys to go check out if you're new to my channel. Also, hit me up on Instagram if you want to grab my top tier charisma or top tier Superman fragrance. Those are my signature colognes that you can definitely grab from me. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram. It's your boy KD. We out of here, baby.